Hi everyone, this is Andre. Today we're going to talk about how to have a great menopause. So when you're in your 60s, it's gonna be like when you're in your 50s. So let's start with a couple of questions. So first one, what is menopause? So what's happening in your body? And that's in terms of how Chinese medicine see it, how Chinese medicine explains it. At what age will menopause happen? And what are the symptoms? And 3 is how to prepare for a great menopause. The 4th is kind of common question, like people were wondering how to delay the menopause. The 5th one is what to do or what to eat during or before, during, or after menopause to make it better, to have less symptoms. The last one is how do we know when it's done? So let's start by explaining what is menopause. So our body, and from birth to death, we go through 3 different phases. First phase is your childhood. The second phase is adulthood. Between childhood and adulthood is puberty. So puberty is a transition between 2 phases. The menopause is also a transition between adulthood and towards the last third of your life. So during this time, during menopause, well, let's go back. During puberty, your body's growing, your body's becoming more like an adult, because for women, you're now able to get pregnant, to have children. So that's part of. Sorry, I had a phone call. I was cut off. So during puberty is when your body transitions from a child to an adult, and for women, it's because our body needs to make some change, so we are able to reproduce. Women is able to get pregnant, man is able to get women pregnant. So that's what happens in puberty, and the same thing goes on in menopause. It's a transition between adulthood to the end of our lives. We want to. So during this period of menopause, our body will make some adjustment, make some changes, so we are able to live healthy and live longer at the last third of our life. So during this time, it's like when your cell phone battery is almost dying, it's at 20%, and your phone pops up the message saying, do you want to turn on the low battery mode? And most sensible people would click yes and turn it on to preserve your battery life. So that's exactly what menopause is. It's like a low battery mode for your life. And in this low battery mode, your body will make some adjustment to preserve energy, preserve your organs, so you can live a healthier life afterwards. And at this point of life, at age 50 or 49, women don't really need to reproduce anymore. So our body is kind of shutting this function down, just like in low battery mode, your phone will shut off some function to preserve the battery, or turn down the brightness, or turn down the volume, and things like that. So that's what happens in menopause. So today we're focusing more on women's menopause. So during this time, our body is going to, like I said, some of the function will be shutting down, and things will be rerouted, and also we're going to use less of resources of our body. So that's basically what's happening during this time. And at what age is normal? In ancient Chinese texts, the yellow emperor's canon says that their life cycle is on a 7-year cycle. So from age 0 to 7, you start changing your teeth to you're losing your kids' teeth and then growing adult teeth. And then at age 14, you get your period, so you're able to get pregnant and to reproduce and things like that. So at age 49, it's the time when you start to have your menopause to begin this transition. And at this time, the passage to your uterus will be closing. So the passage to the uterus will be closing. So anything that's going into the uterus will be shutting down. So let's review how Chinese medicine view our menstrual cycle. So at the beginning of your after the last menstrual cycle, your stomach will transform the food that you eat and store the nutrients in your breasts. So that's why your breasts will begin to fill up, to get full as you get closer to your period. And when your egg is not fertilized, the body knows, okay, I'm not pregnant this month, so then the heart and liver will help to send all these nutrients to the uterus so you can leave the body, because these nutrients are just like food. If they stay in the body for too long, they become rotten and can create toxins and causing diseases. So that's a healthy life cycle, like a metabolism. So new comes in and old goes out. So that it goes on and on every month until from your puberty to your menopause. So when this gate is closing, you'll notice that your period now has longer gaps between them, or you might be skipping a period, or even you would skip 2 months. As you progress in your menopause, you'll notice the gap is much longer than before. So that's basically what's happening at menopause. So the symptoms, I think everybody are quite familiar with the symptoms. One would be hot flash. Hot flash meaning your body will suddenly feel like burning up, gets really hot, and start sweating, and then you cool down again until the next time it happens. And this might happen multiple times a day, depending on how healthy this person is. The healthier the person is, the fewer times it would happen. It's because in Chinese medicine, the heart belongs to fire, so and the liver belongs to wood. So the liver in Chinese medicine stores a lot of blood. So this stores blood normally goes to heart to nourish the heart. So because if you look at the elemental theory, the wood is supposed to generate fire. So if you lit a fire on the wood, and if you make the wood temperature high enough, you create a fire. So the Chinese medicine see it like that. So the liver kind of supplements the heart. So in the beginning of the menopause, our body this amount of blood will decrease. So we're going to use less amount of blood in the liver. So when heart has less supply of blood, this fire cannot be cooled down, because blood in this situation kind of counterbalances the fire. So fire goes up, you get hot flashes, and sometimes you get irritated, you're in a bad mood, you get angry very easily, and that's because the wood is not able to nourish, the liver is not able to nourish the heart. And heart plays a very important role also for sleeping. So if your heart is malnourished, you will have trouble falling asleep, or you have difficulty staying asleep. So a lot of insomnia comes with menopause. And the next thing you know is, because your body is going to preserve its energy, you find the metabolism starts going to slow down. So you might notice a bit of a weight gain, or your limbs are getting puffier with more water retention. That's because the energy in your body is reduced, is being preserved, so you can live longer. So these are the general symptoms of menopause. Now the third is how to prepare for it. So preparing for menopause is nothing different than keeping your health, like keeping up with your health. So meaning that you're supposed to eat healthy, you're supposed to live healthy, and you're supposed to keep yourself in a happy mood. So if you're constantly worrying, or you're constantly nervous, it's going to affect your health no matter what. Whether it's during menopause or before menopause, it's going to drag your health down. So when you're not as healthy, the menopause symptom will become more severe, because your body is not able to cope with the change. For example, in our body we have multiple organs, and when one organ isn't working so well, another organ will come in and help it. And this goes on and on. So when the second organ is not working so well, the third will come in and help to keep your body in balance. So when this cycle is not working properly, you start to notice more symptoms of sickness or some discomfort, because your body is not able to compensate, and as well as a healthy person. So that's the time you need to go check your lifestyle, check your diet, see if you're being really ignorant about your health, and you're not watching what you eat, you're not living a good lifestyle, you're not exercising, and things like that. So by preparing it, you need a good healthy lifestyle, healthy diet, and a regular exercise routine. The fourth one, a lot of people are really afraid of the menopause, because they think, women especially, they think after menopause they will look much older, they're going to feel much older, just basically afraid of getting old, that's all. But as I explained, menopause is a way of turning on the low battery mode. So if you are able to turn on this low battery mode, you're able to preserve more power for your more energy for the rest of your life. So by delaying the low battery mode, you're just going to consume more power, and you end up using more energy. You're going to end up looking much older than you're supposed to. So don't be afraid of if menopause is happening. It's not the end of the world. If you're able to live healthy, eat healthy, and exercise regularly, and you're not going to feel much difference after menopause. And in fact, you will not look much older than you expected, and you might actually look younger than your age. So don't be afraid of the menopause. Don't try anything to delay it. However, for some people, it does come late, maybe in their early 50s, mid 50s. It's probably because your body has abundance of energy. It doesn't need. Your battery is still at 40%. You don't need to turn on the low battery mode. So kind of like that. The fifth question, what to eat or what to do. So kind of like what I explained, you don't need to, if you already have a healthy lifestyle, you don't need to do anything special for menopause. You just make sure that you eat everything. You're not being picky about food. Things that you can eat, you should eat. If things are giving you, if you're trouble with gluten, then don't eat gluten. If you have trouble with dairy, then don't eat dairy. Things like that. Just knowing what your body can handle, what it cannot handle, and just don't challenge your body. Listen to your body. It'll tell you what it's supposed to eat, and if you are eating healthy, you should feel a lot more energetic and less tired. Your body will feel lighter. So last thing is, how do we know when it's done? So kind of like puberty. How do you know when it's done? Well, you probably don't know. Because you probably have seen when you're in high school, you've seen your classmates, maybe in the late teens, still has a lot of pimples on the face and still like having like what we call hormone imbalance issue. They're still moody, they're not happy, irritated, things like that. So the menopause can take different time can take shorter or longer time depending on the person. There's no set rules or how long it should take. But to know when it's completely done, you're probably looking at 1 year without period. That's kind of like a rule of thumb. It's not always not 100% the case, but you should be symptom free. No hot flashes, no night sweating. Right, I forgot to mention night sweating. So night sweating is another symptom of menopause. It's when you fall asleep, you sweat a lot. Your clothes or your sheets might be soaking wet. That's called night sweating. So when you don't have any of these symptoms and you don't have your period anymore, that's when it's done. And I think that's all the explanation I want to do today. If you have any more questions or comments, feel free to leave it below. I will answer them. And just have a happy menopause. Accept what's coming and be happy. Like, the most important part for our health is able to live in a happy moment, like being positive. I think that will beat any medicine that you take. Okay, I'll see you next time. Goodbye. Until next time.